Lieberman has expressed himself as possibly running as an independent. What is the logic behind that?
Well, I'll put the two questions together. It just seems to me, since Gore Lieberman ran together as a team back in 2000, Al Gore has really found his Democratic voice, and Joe Lieberman is losing his. And he's beginning to sound more and more like a Republican. He runs a lot more strongly amongst Republicans than he does, with Democrats. He's in opposition to his party on a lot of the big issues that we care about. And I think that's some of the logic behind why he considered running as an independent or Republican.
Let him go. Let him go.
I'm sorry?
Does that mean a lot of Republican money will be going his way if he runs as an independent?
Will a lot of Republican money go Senator Lieberman's way? I think he gets an awful lot of Republican money now, so sure.
It's very serious erosion of our civil liberties. Patriot Act and domestic surveillance. What is your position on that?
The question was about civil liberties and erosion of our civil liberties over the last 5 years and my position there. Let me just answer it this way. I know Russ Feingold's censure resolution went nowhere and it's over, but Senator Lieberman and the American Bar Association and most legal scholars around this country say that the President of the United States, in all likelihood, broke the law when he allowed these warrantless wiretaps to go through with no judicial scrutiny, despite the FISA rules, despite those rules. And look, I'm not looking to make a big deal out of it. Maybe he did it for well-meaning purposes, and maybe we need more intelligence and the such. But he broke the law, and you've got to hold people accountable for that. So when Russ Feingold stood up and he said, I think censure is an appropriate way to deal with this. It's a way to say that it's wrong, we don't want it to take place, and it's a 2-day debate, and then you move on. And I think that would have set a very important signal out there that nobody's above the law. And instead, by doing nothing, we're on a slippery slope where increasingly our civil liberties are getting compromised. We're releasing classified information for political reasons. The nature of these wiretaps are much more broad than we've ever anticipated. So I was sorry the Democrats didn't stand up on that issue.
I'm standing up.
Oh, stand up.
I have a question. Well, actually, I want to explain my feelings about having a campaign in which we could possibly have a primary, let's say one, and it's almost positive that Senator Lieberman would run as an independent, and you can't really deny it. And it seems, I go back to 1968 when Johnson had resigned and Stephen Humphrey was the candidate. And so many of, and I've been a liberal Democrat all my life, very strong liberal Democrat. And so many of the liberal purists were either were going to vote for Nixon or not vote at all because Humphrey was too tied up with the Johnson policy. And no matter what Humphrey said, nobody gave him the chance to be his own man. And we got Nixon. And I'm really disturbed about challenging somebody like Senator Lieberman, who on the whole has been pretty good. A lot of Democrats voted for this war, and I still don't see a big concerted effort on the part of the Democrats coming out with petitions for a sense of the Senate or whatever against the war and having us get out.
Well, a couple of thoughts on the war and Senator Lieberman as an independent and such. I think the Democrats are slowly getting their voice. Chris Dodd said a couple of weeks ago, look, we're going to give this coalition government, the Sunnis and the Shias, a little more time, a little more finite amount of time to get their act together, or it's time for us to get our military presence over in Iraq. I saw John Kerry finally stood up and said the same thing over the last couple of weeks. So the Democrats are getting their voice, and it's important we speak clearly on that. But to your broader issue that, my gosh, let's not jeopardize the safe seat, watch out for ourselves as Democrats here. I can tell you, look, on August 8th, we're going to have a primary. We're going to keep it within the party. The winner of that primary, I support all the way. The Democrats were united going forward. I can also tell you that when I win on August 8th, it will be a pretty good-sized upset just between you and I think we're going to have Democrats energized. We're going to have Democrats out there with something to believe again. I think it will be the best thing that happened to Chris Murphy and Joe Courtney and Diane Kerr. The Democrats are energized and turning out. And I think it's not only going to be a new senator, but it's also going to be several new congresspeople. I think it will be good for the party.